Hello again and welcome back to our course on Word 2019. In this module we're going to talk about saving a document. Now this is the document that we created a few moments ago, and if you look at this document it's quite difficult to tell on first look if it's been saved or not, but there are a couple of clues, and the biggest clue, I guess, would be if you look up into that title bar at the top of the document, it just says Document 1 at the moment. Now, because it doesn't have a name, it means that I haven't saved this document. Remember, Document 1, 2, 3 is the default name you get when you create a new blank document. So that's how I know that this document isn't saved. So the first thing I want to do is to save this document to a location of my choice. Now, as always in Microsoft, there are a few different ways that you can save a document. So I could go across to my quick access toolbar and you'll see the first icon there is the save icon. Now again, normally if I had already saved this document and I'd then made some changes, I could just click save and nothing would happen. It would just save my changes to the file name. But because I haven't saved this document yet, if I click on save, it's going to jump me to that save as area. Let me just go back for one moment. So that's the first way you could do it. You could click on the icon if you have it on your quick access toolbar. The second way of doing it, which essentially is going to take me to the same place we were just in, it's just a slightly longer way, is to go into that backstage area. So I could go to File and down to Save As. Now this Save As screen might look a little bit unusual if you're not used to it. Again, this is similar in all of the Microsoft applications. What you have on the left-hand side is you have a list of recent folders. So again, it's going to show me all of the folders that I've recently saved into. Or alternatively, I have different locations where I can choose to save this document. So I could choose to save it to OneDrive, which is cloud storage. So that would be a great option if I wanted to collaborate on this document. So specifically if I wanted to share it with other people, and also if I wanted to make sure that I could access this document from wherever I am, I would save it into OneDrive, into the cloud. Alternatively, I could choose to save it to any other location. So I could choose to save it to my local drives on my PC, and I could choose to browse to a specific location as well. So I'm going to click on Browse, and I can now choose a location from my local folders. So I'm going to scroll up, and I actually am going to save it into my OneDrive. So I'm going to go to my OneDrive, I'm going to click on Documents, and I'm going to select a folder. And I'm going to put it in this one here, Word Documents. And I can then give my file a name. So you can see here in the file name area, it's picked up the first line of that document, and that's what you'll see as the default file name. It will always put in the first line of your document, which most of the time isn't what you want to call your file. So we're going to jump into here and we're going to change that. So I'm going to say my first letter. And underneath you can see it says save as type. So I've selected docx, which is the 2019 file extension. Just as a point of note, if you click the drop down here, you do have other file types that you can save your document as. So some of these you might want to use. For example, this one here, Word 97 to 2003. So that will save it in the .doc format, which is the old format for Word documents. So if you're using an older version of Word, that's in general what you would have saved your document as. Now, why might you want to save your 2019 document as an older version? Well, as I mentioned briefly in one of the earlier modules, if you plan to send this to somebody who you know doesn't have 2019, maybe they have a much older version, then you can help them out a little bit by saving your document as a doc file, and it will ensure that you can, when they open it, it will open in compatibility mode and they can read it. So just be mindful of who you're sending it to. You could also come in here and save it as a template if you wanted to reuse it. You can save it as a PDF, and we will be going through some of these options as we go through the course. But for now, I'm happy to keep it as a docx file extension. And I'm going to click Save. And it's as simple as that. So now if you glance up to the top of your letter, you should now see that it's been given a name. So my first letter. So what that means with regards to saving is if I now make a change to this, so if I put in my full name, so now if I want to save this, I can go to my quick access toolbar and I can just click on save. I don't need to go back into save as. And can you see now my save button has those little arrows over the top? That's because I've saved it into a cloud location. So essentially what it's doing when you save is it's doing a refresh with the cloud version. So if I click save, it just saves those changes to that particular file name. Another thing I could do would be Control S on my keyboard. That is the shortcut for save as well. Now I would recommend when you are working in a document, if you have saved it and you have your file name, as you're going through, just do Control S every now and again just to make sure that those changes are being saved. Now if I was to make one more change, so I'm just going to put my name on the next line by pressing enter. Now maybe I don't save, but I just go to close my file by clicking on the cross at the top. You can see it's asking me, do you want to save your changes to my first letter? So Word will recognize any unsaved changes as you go to close, and it will prompt you to save those. So you can then click save or don't save. Now I actually don't want to close this down, so I'm just going to close out of there. So that's pretty much it on saving, fairly straightforward. We are going to close this document in a moment and I'm going to show you how to open it in the next module. So I will see you over there.